Hey guys, it's me. So I wanted to do a video blog update before I head to the hospital in the morning. I'm talking really quietly because my parents are in the next room. Um, and I know that I should probably be sleeping right now, but let's be real, I can't really sleep right now. Um, but I wanted to do a video blog update about this past week, to hopefully move it a little quicker rather than writing it because I get a little flowery with my writing sometimes. And then I get all nervous because I'm an English major, that whole ordeal, whatever. Anyways, so I figured this will be a little bit more simple, and maybe a little bit more entertaining if you can see my face, my beautiful little face. Which actually, it's probably not that pretty right now. Um, this is me with no makeup on. Um, but, so, I went down to PC on Thursday, um, which is now a week ago because it is 12:15 a.m. And I stayed until Sunday, and it was glorious. Um, that is the hardest part of this whole process right now, is being at home with not really a lot of friends around me. I do have some here, but it's definitely not the same, especially once you have grown so accustomed and so used to the community at PC. And for those of you at PC, you understand what I'm saying. Um, it's I don't even have accurate words right now to describe it, but going there this past weekend was the best form of therapy I've had yet. Um, to be honest, I was a little worried going down there. I was a little bit panicky because I didn't really know how people were going to react now that the news was out, at least for the most part. The majority of the people knew. Um, and I mean, most of you know that, like, people, like, the pity face that people get sometimes. Not a big fan of that. Doesn't make me feel good, doesn't make you feel good, so let's just avoid that. Anyways, so I was a little worried about going down there because I didn't know how people were going to react, and this was like my big, like, social outing or whatever, which sounds weird. Um, but but once I got down there, it was fabulous. The first person I ran into was Jessica, who is, I'm only using first names, remember. Um, she's another PC student from Virginia, and she had a long conversation with me as I was walking into my dorm, and it was great. And then I saw Heather, well, for second, my roommate, and then Heather. Um, Moseyed across campus, saw some other people like John and Jonathan and George. And then, I had class at 4:15 and I had gotten on campus at 3:20, thinking I would have enough time to get myself, freshened up a little bit after the drive, unpacked a little bit, and then get to class on time. And I just kept seeing people and talking to people, and which is completely understandable. And so I moseyed on into class, and Dr. Bryant hadn't got my email yet that I was coming physically to class and not Skyping in today, and so he was a little baffled. And one of the girls in the class, Grace, was adorable. It just made me feel really good. She just said that she was glad I was there, and I don't know. I was glad that I was there. It was, I don't know. So that was awesome. Sat through that last class on Thursday and hung out with Mackenzie and DC on that night, at Seniors with a bunch of other people, wonderful people like Taylor and Ellen and Lacey and Natalie and Taylor and Katie and Jamie, who I met that night, who's awesome. Lauren and Alice and Casey, all these girls. It was literally just all girls, pretty much. And enjoyed myself thoroughly there. Went out and hung out with some people. Um, Literally, I was just trying not to do anything, um, like, plan anything necessarily. I really wanted to do things kind of on the fly and not, worry about time schedule and trying to get from point A to point B in a certain amount of time. I didn't want to do that. So that's what I avoided, and it was awesome. I hung out with a lot of people that night. Friday, I slept in. I was exhausted. Um, Going from typically sleeping here at home, like anywhere 10:30 to 11:30 is when I would go to bed, and waking up at like 8:30 or 9. And then trying to be back on that college schedule because at school I was sleeping from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. which is glorious for most of you that know me really well. I don't sleep that much most of the time. And so getting on that sleep schedule of 6 hours was awesome. And now I need a lot more sleep, and it's a whole different world. Anyways, so I slept in on Friday, and then went. Oh, I met Emma for lunch. I'm getting my days confused, which was hilarious. She is very sassy herself, and I know she calls me sassy because I am sassy, and I'm okay with that. Um, but she's been great through this whole process, and a great sporting friend. I sorry, I'm getting a little speechless at some points. Um, but it was a hilarious lunch, really good laughs. Um, Thoroughly enjoyed it. And then Lacey came to lunch, and then Victoria Dew and Patrick, who got a little angry because he didn't know that I was there on campus, which I felt bad about, but sorry, Patrick. But a bunch of other people, Martin and Molly and Sterling and Ryan, all these people sat down. And it was glorious, and I sat through lunch for a long time and moseyed on up to Springs and did some logistic work like signing the proxy form and my senior waiver so I can get senior housing and blah 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 blah, all that fun stuff. But I loved seeing you, Lenny, if you're watching this, so that was good. um, and oh, then we had Bluefish on Friday afternoon from like 2:30. It was supposed to go to 5:30. I think we got out at like 5, um, which was awesome. You know, we were talking about hard stuff, but I was in a room with some of my closest friends at PC, and that's what I needed, and that's what I loved. And I got to sit in between two of my besties, Daniel and Jennifer. I mean, what more do I need? Um, yeah. Um, what happened after that? Oh, I went back to my room and had a little bit of a breakdown because on my way down to PC, I had posted that status. I was like, in exactly a week, I'll be having a bilateral mastectomy, blah, blah, blah. Damn. Yeah. Well, went and read that finally, and the comments and stuff that were said about it, and the messages I had gotten on Facebook, and just kind of broke me down a little bit, which was good. Um, I need to do that. That's an important part of this whole process of dealing with it and moving on and coping and everything. So that was highly important for me. And so I just kind of took my own little time, and then I went down to one of my good friend, Erin. She's a senior this year. She's a glorious, glorious girl. Love her. And she made me dinner, which was fan freaking tastic. She had like, what was it? Spinach and ricotta cheese stuffed tortellini. I think that's what it was. Some little marinara sauce on top, and she did asparagus in the oven with like pepper and stuff on top. I don't know what else she had on there, but it was delicious. And garlic bread, and oh, it was so good. Mm. And good conversation. It was just, and no one else was in her apartment, and no one else came and bothered us. And like I had my phone on silent. It was quality time. And super excited that I get to go back for graduation, as a side note, to see wonderful people like her graduate like I promised. But then from there, I went. Oh, I went to the theater show. Actually, I went to that on Thursday night too, so you include that into that plan. Um, and then I went to the show again on Friday night with Jennifer and Catherine, my boss's daughter. Um, and it was awesome. Saw a bunch more people, and some of my favorite guys were there who graduated last year. Myron and Trandon. Shout out to you guys. I love you guys. Myron broke me down, of course. I don't know what it is about that kid. You got something about you, and I don't know what it is, but um, didn't make me feel embarrassed about it at all. You know, it's good. He's rocking a bracelet for me. Obviously not this one, but something about boobies. It's kind of funny, but it's good. And then I saw Trandon, and it was good. And what did I do from there? Oh, I went to my boss's house and hung out with Jennifer and Catherine there for a long time and just took it easy that night for the most part. And Saturday, I knew I should have done this sooner. I can't remember. Um, Saturday, I had brunch with Jennifer, and then Mackenzie and Victoria joined, and it was glorious. Love those girls. And then I walked around town with Jennifer and Jerry for a while. I had to go home. I went to Jerry's house a little earlier than them because I get really tired, like a lot more easy now. Of course, not right now because it's 12:25. Anyways, so I went back and rested and waited for them to come back, and then I went and saw my little brother at Thornwell Joseph, and which was awesome. I had been looking forward to doing that, and I actually brought one of my friends with me, Toivo, because Joseph's a big soccer player, and so Toivo is too. So I got him to come and hang out with him, and that was really cool to see him interacting with him and learning new skills. I don't know. I miss that kid. And then my little sister Savannah showed up, which just topped my day off even more. Um, I love her more than she knows, I think, and I miss her a lot. Um, but then I went back to my dorm and got ready because I was in sweats and stuff from just showering that morning. Didn't really care how I looked throughout the day. But so I went back and got somewhat presentable and went to dinner with a good group of friends. Jennifer, Heather, Taylor, Mackenzie, Lauren, and Patrick. Ooh, sorry, it went dark for a minute. Um, and it was the best time ever. It was the best dinner I'd had in ages. We laughed so hard for so long, and I feel terrible for whoever else was in that restaurant with us, but it was hilarious and exactly what I needed. Actually, the picture of us is my is my background, just in case y'all wanted to know. It's always that special. But yeah, and so then I ended up hanging out in the dorm for a little while with some of my friends and packing, and then I went out to Nick's house at the back of campus and saw John and all the Theta Chi boys. Shout out to you guys. Y'all are awesome too. Especially you, John. Thank you. And Mac. Pretty awesome too. Anyways, sorry. I don't mean to get all sappy or whatever, but sometimes you got to. Hung out with them for a little bit, chatted it up, and then I went over to Sigma Nu, which is essentially, I feel like those guys are my brothers, and a lot of my friends hang out there, and so I was just hanging out there for the most of the night, catching up with people I hadn't really talked to yet, but had heard through the grapevine what was going on, or on Facebook, and it was good for them to physically interact with me themselves and very personally, and I was super glad that I got to do that with people. It was good. Um, and it was just like a really chill night. I didn't expect anything. No one expected anything of me. It was just good. And I ended up having a awesome conversation with one of my very good friends, Daniel, which I couldn't be happier about. That was good. I actually felt like I was making some progress opening up to him because, like, even though I put on this solid, fearless, brave front, I have my moments. Reality check. I'm 20 and dealing with breast cancer. Yeah, it's not really cool. Um, so yes, it sucks. And yes, I say it sucks, but what can I do to make it suck less? Sometimes I get a little stuck on the suck part. I put things so eloquently. Um, but yeah, so Daniel helped me work through that a little bit, and he opened up to me too, which was good. I felt real good about that. Um, but Yeah, so I went to bed really late that night, because then Rihanna got locked out of the Smythe, so I had to go let her in once I had actually crawled in bed. And Sunday, um, I was gonna go to Friendship, which is an AME church in Clinton. I love the community there. Those people mean a lot to me. They left me a voicemail the week before last after church because I had asked John to tell them for me, which is another PC student that goes there.